I think
They had to give in that picture.
I think
that what?
They had to give Jessica a penny because she was crying so hard. So they gave her a penny to distract her, and then they got the picture.
Yeah, I always remember that one.
47.
It's hard for you to give up Blanky, wasn't it, Glenn?
Oh, you had your blanket there?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
It's about Pop Riller.
Yeah, I wish I knew where he was, if he's still living. I'd like to see him again.
When did we last see him? We could go on Ancestry.com and find out, Mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's his real first name?
Just
Morris,
arrived, so this would be
Morris
that's you then.
Is it?
But
How old would
isn't
he be
there
now?
isn't there two N's in your name?
Yeah.
Probably 90s.
That's probably Dad's handwriting.
This is Art's
I
writing,
don't know how much younger he would be then. And I don't know how did we know the Rellers.
Oh, there's Joyce
He's not
and
a
Judy.
relative, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that is.
There you are. How cute you are.
Mother, is that hard on your back to bend forward like that?
Not to bend forward, but to twist, but it's worth it.
It's just worth it. Yeah, maybe you can put it more over in front of you so you don't have to twist.
I'm all right.
You just didn't look comfortable.
You guys want to see?
She's been sitting there for 2 hours.
So what road is this?
For 2 hours?
I don't know.
Oh.
What's 10 to 9? I don't know what time you start looking.
Something that she
So are
had
you ready
written
for
there.
our sloppy joes, okay?
We have 6 pounds of sloppy joes for the 5 of us to eat.
5 of us.
6 pounds, a pound apiece, or
Well, you're gonna have the little kids, your grandkids, so they probably like sloppy joes.
Ooh,
Get rid of some. Do you know what road this is?
well, I know the Richmond Road would flood, but I don't know if that's what this one is.
Oh,
Yeah,
because it almost looked like the road that we used to walk on around by the willows.
They go by the Richmond
We'd circle
dump.
here by the willow
There's some
trees,
other.
Now what you need to get
and
But I'm
then
not
before
sure.
they changed the road.
a small flat
Yeah, I'm not sure if.
But I don't remember
That's
that
what
it ever flooded.
sit down here that much.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
Now who is this?
It says Chicago Gang.
Judy, where did you get your furniture?
it's
I'm not sure who that is. Herder or.
It's
Yeah.
Hoygaard.
And
Hoygaard's.
Art and Mr. and Mrs. whoever.
Do you have a
From
light over
Chicago,
there, Jude,
yeah,
or you just
okay.
have the
Yeah, Bill was sending out customers.
You
and
don't have a ceiling or ceiling light.
Yeah.
In the fan.
Oh yeah, there in the fan. That's right.
You know how he made
I was thinking you had
water
more
there
than one
that the kids
fan.
could swim in? He put tar paper down on the ice, and he brought in loads and loads of sand, and then when it melted, it ground out the mud.
Yeah.
And
It's pretty ingenious.
yeah, he was. Boat landing.
You know,
I'm not sure who those.
when I started bleeding, I was opening the bag of the plastic
I'm not
forks
quite
in my
Yeah, I
sure
saw
where
that.
that is.
And then Lorraine tripped, and then I don't even know when this.
Some of these, I'm not sure
I
where they
don't know what
are.
we're eating tomorrow night. I figure we'll have her over the next 4 days. But I'm not going to go to that. If Wow and Janice and Johnny are going.
No.
There's some old cars though.
Todd and the
Ronald
kids,
just
Going
said
through
that
the water.
this week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Yeah. It's not cheap to go. You know, you can get
Well, this
$10
could be Richmond if that's the water tower.
admission yet.
Because Dad would usually leave a boat on this side if it got too deep, and then you would row to the other side and walk into town.
Well, you know, the Melrose Dam broke at one time. He had to take a boat to town all the time.
And then
And none of the roads were passable, so maybe that was some of that.
Taking your kids too.
So I'm not. Now we got the round bottom boats. So I'm not sure.
Getting up in the world.
Yeah.
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 Well, this says
Scott said
Foxy.
original stuff was
This is Sim.
Well,
Cinder
Foxy
or
was
Linda?
raised a dog. That's why Mom liked her so well, the way she had no use for it, for
Oh,
dogs.
raised dog?
That was Ray's, And
Who's
so
Mrs. Linder?
Cinder?
Mrs. Linder or
Is it
Cinder?
Linder or Linden?
Mrs. Linder and Foxy, I don't know who that is. But Foxy was Ray's dog, and Mom just took that dog that you wouldn't believe.
Hmm.
So
Richmond.
really tomorrow's the only day they have it.
Yeah, that could be, you know, when the Melrose dam broke, and customers would come in, and gas was being rationed. It was during the war.
Oh.
And customers would come in by train, and then Art would pick them up at the depot. And
In the boat.
he'd had, no?
Oh.
Well,
Well, I think
yeah, however he arranged it, but he had to go by boat to get them and put all their stuff in the boat. And now,
This
it
could be.
goes into East Lake.
I think it goes in East Lake where the land comes down.
And then right down there's Crane Island,
Yeah.
where we did our raspberry picking.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
did-
get up any minute.
So how would you get down there? Do you row down there?
And then you
Oh,
can sit
sure.
and relax tomorrow.
Flat bottom.
So you
I
row
can't
to
relax
Crane
for
Island
4
and then
days.
get
My
the
company's
berries?
gone.
Oh, we found a lot of raspberries in Crane Island.
I guess it depends.
And
if anybody-
they had,
if
Crane
nobody
Island had a
wants to
sandbar
try
coming
to
out
fix-
too.
Yeah.
I'll probably go because
And then
you almost
we
have to
would
have
heap
4 people
the
for a lot of rides.
jars that Mom gave us to put the berries in.
You know,
And
one
we
kid
just
and
have them heaped because we knew that they'd melt down.
And you
We
don't
get
know if
heck
you're
if
gonna
we
go
didn't
over.
fill it.
Well,
You know, it's amazing. She
And
let
so
you go
we
down
covered
there.
up and we'd put them under the
kinda-
seats and do whatever we
kinda
could
like,
to keep the sun from hitting them too much, you know.
Oh, man.
And then we get home, and of course, all the juice was in there, and you could see that
Yeah.
there had been. And how come you came home with it before you filled them? Yeah, there's little memories of all that stuff. Now, what's this?
Well, that's. I assume that's the resort dock. And this might be the area where you bought the land so Dad could get a room.
Have an extra one for the.
I see
I
across the.
think. I think.
But this here, you know, didn't look like the dock, so that's why I was wondering.
Oh.
Yeah, then it'd
It's
be
different.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where this
And
is
I-
as a fence.
I emailed Chin the other day.
But
I was at
Not
Savers
sure what that is.
on Monday.
Mhm.
Not everything,
Blurry
but, like,
picture.
clothing and bed bath and accessories.
See, this is the dock with the
50%
barrels.
Yeah.
There, that other
And I
didn't
think
look
that's
like it.
the part that the river comes by and goes up to
Mhm.
Cold
The
Spring.
old dam would be right about there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What did it look like? Was
Well,
it
no, it was
cement or?
it was a part of the river. You know, it was an old dam, which means they just assembled it. And
So
They put the
water
new
would
one.
flow over and down?
I don't know. That was before our time, but we knew it as the old dam when we came. And
Okay,
we're
so
told
there
it-
was no dam
That's
there
what
when you
that's
moved
it,
there.
there was none there when we moved there.
So
No.
it's really
But
old.
there
So
used
it
to
was
be.
the old dam, but how did we know? Unless we
Yeah.
were told by somebody.
Sure.
Maybe when the Leitners were there, maybe it was there.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm sure we would have heard anything through the Leitners. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what that is.
Through the bridge.
Well, I usually
Or
do
Cold Spring or
use
something.
different hot dogs.
That's Richmond again.
Doesn't matter.
Not
they've
sure
been
where that
doing,
is either.
I think they've been using the Hebrew National. Is it?
So,
I think those are the kind of hot dogs.
That looks like Mrs. Ellis,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
yeah.
Mhm.
Grandma and
Yeah, I
Grandpa
think
Ellis.
Mr. Ellis behind her.
Yeah.
Push
Mhm.
And that might be her daughter. Did she have like an adopted daughter? Or?
Yes.
I don't know. I
Yes,
don't.
her
I
name
don't
was,
remember.
Ethel.
Now this looks like Aunt Lizzie back there, but I don't
Oh, really?
see how it could be.
Looks like Grandma. Yeah.
Well, unless
Wonder
it's
who
my
that is.
mother.
That's not Louise Kurtz, is it?
Mm-mm.
No, no.
Hmm.
Uh-uh.
Hmm.
But it's somebody who was working there maybe when Art Neville and Art was working in
St.
St. Paul. And
Oh, that's a better
then he
picture.
wasn't. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Mr. and Mrs. Ellis.
Is that Ruth Sauer? Right there. This, I think, is Ethel.
I just can't imagine who it is with the baby.
It's Grandma or one of her sisters or family members.
It looks
somehow,
like a family member,
yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's Aunt Lizzie with one of her little grandchildren, kids at the time. But then Art or Evelyn would have been in there too.
Mom's in there, right there,
Where?
right there in the back. That's Mom.
See, I don't think that looks like her.
Oh, yeah,
Probably
that's
is.
her.
Then, well, then maybe she's holding one of you little ones.
No,
Glenn was born when they were living in St.
I wonder
Paul.
if that's one of Grandma and Grandpa Ellis's. They had 3 boys. Ethel has 3 boys.
Mhm.
Maybe
And then there
that's
was
one.
another lady, where they did manage and watch and everything. Another lady did the cooking. And I'm
Maybe
wondering if
that's
that, I forgot her name. I'm wondering if that's her, and I was to her funeral.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
At the
That
resort,
could be her daughter.
did Grandma serve meals to the people who stayed at the resort? She served meals there for a while.
Yeah.
Was it?
Oh, sure. There were no cottages,
So
and so we rented a wooden boat, and well, they rented a room, and with it they got their boat, and
Meals.
meals,
the board.
and so that was the canny that she did, and the
They
things.
rented a room in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So where did they eat? Or where she
In the
cooked it?
dining room.
Oh, in the dining room.
Mm-hmm.
So they would come down to the dining room. It was like family style.
No, they were served. You
I
know,
even remember when we went to the resort a few times, we stayed in the house upstairs.
Really?
mm-hmm.
Huh.
But as you go right up the front steps,
Mm-hmm.
and then that single room right at the head of the
Mhm.
steps, we called it the white room,
The white room.
and because it was always painted white. And then
Well, most of them were white.
yeah, and the calcimine was used in those days. Couldn't afford the paint, and so and then as you went to the left, and right to the left is a double room, real big, and the windows overlook the water. And then if you went straight ahead, there's another double room, and the closets were huge.
Hmm.
And so there was 2 double rooms and a single room up there, and then that was the front steps, and the back steps was the back room, and that's where we kids slept in the summertime. In the wintertime, we didn't heat the upstairs, and we slept in the parlor. Marion and Mom slept in the bedroom, right off the living room there, and off the what is now the bathroom. And then Clara and I slept in one bed, and Art and Ray in the other.
Huh.
And that was in the parlor, yeah. Otherwise, in the summer, then we 4 would sleep upstairs in the back room. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
So-
Ellises were nice
So
people.
how did it work? Did she serve the meals at specific times? And
No,
so if you were renting a room upstairs, would you just come down at a certain time, or did they just come down when they were ready to eat? And then
no, well, they'd say what time they were getting up to go fishing, and if they wanted to eat before or when they came back, you know, or something. But she'd send us down, and they'd say they expected to be back in for dinner at a certain time. And she'd have it all ready, you know, and she was so prompt. And then they didn't come, and he'd try to hold it, you know, and there was a coal stove then, you know, there wasn't even a gas stove. And so we'd go down to the lake, and do we see them coming yet, you know, and if they were coming in to try to rush them along a little bit, you know.
did you say it was a coal stove or cold?
Coal, C-O-A-L.
It was a coal stove in the kitchen?
Sure.
Coal. Oh, I didn't know it was coal.
Coal and wood.
Huh.
Yeah.
And then, of course
And so you cooked over a hot stove, too, you know.
yeah, no air conditioning.
Oh, no, there wasn't, REA wasn't there then. So there was no electric for anything. So how could you have another stove? You couldn't have an electric stove, and you couldn't have a gas stove. Shale gas came in later.
What is
It looks like Dad. I don't know what he's doing. But
I don't either. I often saw the picture and wondered what he was carrying.
Oh, yeah.
I think
That's your dad.
it's probably the resort. I think
He's what?
probably at the resort. Those
that
are probably the
cabins?
cabins down there. I think.
I don't know. I look at those high wires up there, and I don't see
maybe
that's not at the resort.
I don't know.
But it looks like a cabin down there, doesn't it?
I'm not sure who this is. There's Dad, but he's got a pipe.
Yeah, that's
Where's
Kenny.
his pipe? Oh.
That's Kenny.
That's Kenny. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that could be Kenny.
Yeah, he used to tease those kids so much. And this was Art and Beatrice Melander. And in my story, and I tell about teaching, reading, and we went in the cloakroom at the one country schoolhouse. And then when it was done and the rest of the kids went back to their seats, and Bea and I stayed in there. That's Beatrice Melander. And we had the episode with peeing in the dinner pail. Remember that in my book?
Yes.
All right. Well, she
Yes.
was the gal.
That was her. I remember meeting the Melanders.
Where is this?
Oh, this was out at Melanders. Yeah. This was in North Dakota. They were neighbors of ours in North Dakota.
Did she and Dad go out? Did they date? He's got his arm around her, kind of nice.
No, we were very close neighbors. And
Very close.
Well, yeah.
Mom dated the son, the brother.
Okay.
Russell Lander.
Okay, Mr. Russell.
And so he'd come up to the resorts, and I didn't know he came up to see me.
Yeah.
Till Art told me, he said, "Don't you know why Russell comes up so often? Comes up to see you."
Oh.
So then, I got interested in other things when I went to Chicago, and the letters got far and few between. So he made it a point to leave the farm and come up to Chicago and find work and take care of what belonged to him, what he thought did.
Yeah.
And finally, well, like he told me, when we get married, we'll have a fireplace and a chair on each side, and that's where we'll spend our evenings. And another one was, but he had it all planned out that I'd be his. And we wouldn't go anywhere else. He would be satisfied just to know that he married me and we were living together. And I just thought, well, I can't do that. It'd be too stifling, And then I broke up with him, and it felt kind of bad.
You went with him for a long time, didn't you?
Yeah, close to 10 years, I think.
You went with him for 10 years?
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't know that he was my boyfriend.
He was coming up to, was he? Like 6 or 7 years?
7 years older. Mm-hmm.
And then you went with Dad for 2 months and married him.
Yeah, should have stuck with Russell.
Yeah, well, the poor guy, and he was inducted in the service, and then he was in the Battle of the Bulge, and he was never the same when he came back.
Oh.
Who did he marry?
Beatrice and Edith Shook was another farmer neighbor in Fingal, and then Edith and Bee came to Chicago to work, and they got housework because they didn't have more than 8th grade, and so they both did housework, and so when we'd go out on a Sunday for a drive or something, who was in the back but Edith and me, and they were just a part of our lives, and I got sick and tired of it. And so anyway, and we'd be driving along, and they'd see a little house with a fence, oh, that's nice, that's the kind that you should have, And so anyway, this is a long story, but if Art dated anyone, it would be Violet, her older sister. And then Bee was my age, and Violet was Clara's age. And she's the one with the pea in the dinner pail deal. So there's a lot of memories, when I see these pictures. Your big ham. Well, where's the picture of Art? I always called him my big ham. Yeah, this was, we went to North Dakota that time. And Marion, what's her name? I forgot. But she always liked Art an awfully lot. And, but it wasn't, again, another neighbor that we went to visit, and Art had his picture taken with her. See, there he is with his pipe. The pipe is even more prominent there. Yeah, there he didn't have to carry all the groceries. We had the car.
I'm not sure where he was there either, at the resort or not.
Well, it kind of looks like it.
Oh, my.
Oh, this one, he and Russell Melander.
Who is that?
Is
that Russell?
No, that's not Russell. Who's that? Almost looks
not
like
Ellen, is it?
Ellen. I was going to say it almost looks like Ellen, Louisa's husband.
Oh.
But
maybe.
Art and Russell built this car, and they went to the Chicago Fair, the World's Fair, in 1934. So is this dated at all? If not, it's 1934. And that's the only way they
took
had.
that car to Chicago from Richmond?
You betcha.
Yeah. There's no roof
That's the only way they had to get there. This was Depression.
They built it. Oh, my word.
Those 2 guys did. 2 farmer boys.
Yeah. Wow.
And you see back there with the cottages. See, World's Fair. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's Art by it.
Oh, gee. Poison.
Are you remembering all this?
Oh, they had a wreck. The wreck when Art and Ellen
no.
were on their way
It
home
is
from
Ellen.
the World's Fair. Art and Ellen, I thought it was Art and Russ. But that looked
is
like
on the
Ellen in the
picture.
car, and so
Yeah.
maybe they thought he had his picture taken, but it wasn't. Then they went, and then they stayed at Bill and Louise's, and Bill and Louise took them to the fair and around, you know. So Bill and Louise always had
Funniest looking car.
Bill and Louise always had their home open to anybody who came.
Yeah.
They're so good about it. Yeah, that's Art. Mm-hmm. Now that's Art.
Could that be Kenny or not?
No.
Doesn't really look like Kenny.
No. No, I can't think who that is. Mm-mm.
Wow.
Some of these are kind of repeats.
I bet you that, all that flooding, because that wasn't customary. I bet that's when the Melrose Dam went out.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wait a minute, let's see what that is. Who that is.
That's a worker, probably working on the dam.
Oh, okay.
A hard hat on him.
Look where the repeats. Some road washed out.
Yeah, and I remember that Caroline was pregnant with one of her kids, and she was out at the resort, and she and Mom were standing there looking at where that road was washed out, and that was the road that went, instead of turning down 22, takes 23 straight on to Paynesville. And that was a washout part of the road in there. And they were standing and looking at it, and I have that picture.
Oh, that's a marriage.
I think that's a cute picture. Everybody looks so serious.
I know.
Why would you be in a long skirt?
That was Joyce's wedding.
Huh?
That's Joyce's wedding.
Oh,
That's my
really?
bridesmaid dress, yeah.
Oh, I see. And Art gave her away. I have the picture with him with his hip boots and carrying the minnow pail. Yeah, because he told his customers, he wouldn't wear tux. And they said, Art, I can't imagine you not in your hip boots and carrying your minnow pail. And so when Art said that, and I made arrangements with the photographer that after everything was over and people were down eating and that we would go up and eat. Art would put on his boots and minnow pail. So, yeah, that's Mr. and Ms. Ellis. Now, this is Russell.
Oh, Blender?
The fellow I didn't know liked me.
Yeah.
I was his girlfriend. Yeah, he was bound determined that we were going to get married.
I don't know who these people are.
I think this is Ray. I don't know. This is Ray rowing. So whether he was doing towing for somebody, I don't know. There could be a couple customers that he was
a lot of weight in the back
taken
of that boat.
out for.
Took the front right up.
So that's Ray.
That's Ray.
Rowing the boat.
I'm sure it is.
Huh.
The Cardinals really singing. Dear Dorothy.
And I don't know who these Pierces are.
I adore Raymond and Marion.
Yeah, Foxy's our dog.
At our college most of the time.
But see, I rented a room from Pierce, but I didn't remember that I ever got them to go out to the resort.
Hi there. Are the kids going to be up for a while?
Now, who's that, Those two kids there?
It could just be a postcard.
It could be some customers, They had all those fishes. They could
back.
advertise on a postcard. Yeah.
I think we're starting over now.
All
Well,
right.
appreciate that.
Oh, wow.
We're wearing you out.
That was real fun. Yes, you can change that one to Russell. That's not Ray, because Ray was tall also. All the